Oh, crap. It's okay. I didn't do something stupid for once. Oh, crap is actually the name of my guest's business. Can you guess what they do? Plumber? Toilet manufacturer? Anger management consultant? Maybe. You'll find out shortly in this shitty episode 621, there's a hint, of the 13-year-old award-winning small business, big marketing podcast.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of fully compostable marketing. There's another hint. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, and I have an insatiable curiosity for uncovering marketing ideas that help businesses just like yours to grow. I do that through a weekly in-depth conversation with a successful business founder. You, infinitely more importantly, are a motivated business owner, and you are ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. As per usual, team, there's marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Okay, quick story. As you may know, I launched this podcast 13 years ago as a way to help small businesses grow through smart marketing. Long before that, my marketing journey began at Clemenger BBDO, Australia's largest advertising agency, where I looked after the advertising needs of brands including Mercedes-Benz, Dulux, even the Yellow Pages, when it was useful. It was a pretty cool job, and I worked on some amazing campaigns, including launching Gillette Mach 3 into Australasia and the Not Happy Jan campaign for Yellow. The downside was too many meetings and not enough action. And you know how much I respect action. What I really loved about that time, though, was when I met small business owners who, when they found out what I did, would ask me a marketing question, take notes, go away and implement, then call me later to thank me. I got so much satisfaction from this, and it was from that moment on that I made a pact to someday support small businesses in a full-time capacity. Sometime later, a young bloke by the name of Sam, who I'd informally mentored over the years, became a producer of the famous Hamish and Andy radio show. For those overseas, it's a sort of Australia's most popular radio show ever. One day in passing, I told Sam that I discovered this thing called podcasting and that I'd love my own show. Just quietly, I'd always wanted to be on radio. Sam promptly replied, "Mate, Timbo, anytime you'd like to use Hamish and Andy's studio after 6 p.m. weeknights, it's all yours." And he even offered to push all the fancy buttons. And that, my friend, is how the Small Business Big Marketing Show was born. 621 episodes later, it's been an incredible journey made possible through self-funding along with the generous support of sponsors. Over that time, there's also been no shortage of heartfelt emails, messages, phone calls, along with hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews on iTunes and Spotify. Although I did get 3 stars from a listener who said, and I quote, "Some good advice, but Timbo sounds like a used car salesman on Dexies." I gather Dexies is some form of kind of crazy medication. I don't know. Can't please them all. Anyway, if you're responsible for a positive review, then please accept my heartfelt thanks. In many of those messages, I'm asked where else can my marketing knowledge be accessed beyond my podcast. So I write a book called The Boomerang Effect. I blog occasionally. I started a Facebook tribe that exists to this day. And I also speak at conferences. Hey, does this sound like I'm about to tell you I'm wrapping up the podcast? It does to me. Don't worry, I'm not. Although it has crossed my mind every now and then. Now, providing weekly content can take its toll when you know you should be out there making a proper living. But the feedback from you guys and the sense of achievement is far too great to let this baby go. And what's a proper living anyway, right? Instead, today I'm proud to launch my membership site to you, full of exclusive marketing-related goodies, laser-focused on helping build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. Starting at well under 10 tax-deductible dollars a month, there's 3 membership tiers: Bronzelicious, Silverama, and of course, Marketing GOLD. Member benefits include, and certainly not limited to, one-on-one coaching with me to help you achieve breakthroughs, workshops detailing effective marketing ideas you may never have considered. In fact, I just posted one about a recent experience I had at the optometrist and what it taught me about securing a customer for life. There will be reviews of productivity tools that will save you time and money. It's amazing what's out there if you know where to look. There's even full-length videos of some of my favorite interviews. It'll be about this point you realize I've got a great head for podcasting. There's behind-the-scenes videos and photos. I just posted one of me singing in the band I play in. Bet you didn't know I played in a band. It's not pretty. Oh, there's also one of my studio setup, which I break down for you and show you where this show is produced. Invites to a monthly Ask Me Anything webinar, along with plenty of surprises along the way. Which of the goodies you benefit from will depend on which tier you join, obviously. What I can tell you is the top tier includes one-on-one coaching and is limited to 15 spots. It's also worth noting that all the membership benefits across all 3 tiers are totally exclusive. You're not going to find them anywhere else. So if you'd like some extra marketing support without paying a fortune, or maybe you just want to make a contribution to keep this podcast running and me caffeinated, then head over to patreon.com/marketing podcast. You'll also find a link in the show notes. That's Patreon, patreon.com/marketing podcast. I hope to see you on the inside. Righto, Henry Reith started his entrepreneurial journey when he was 16, starting a dry stone wall business in the UK. From there, he went on to run business networking events around the world and started a media company along the way. Now he manufactures and sells fully compostable dog poo bags as the co-founder of the Oh Crap brand. You got to love a good pivot or two, don't you? And a good business name. Using his deep understanding of marketing, and trust me guys, it's deep, Henry exploded the company's growth, leading Oh Crap from a small family-run business to revolutionising the dog poo bag industry in Australia with the Oh Crap family, that's what he calls his customers, I like that, now having saved 32 million dog poop bags from landfill already. Appearing in the Australian Financial Review's Fast Start list in 2021, and with just 4 employees, I do love a lean, successful company. Oh Crap is on a mission to save the world, one dog poo at a time. Beautiful. I started off by asking Henry how he came to part own a dog poo bag company. A question you don't get to ask every day of the week.
So I'm just going to stop you right there on the intro. Biodegradable is generally a marketing term that all of us marketers have actually greenwashed us over the years to sound good.
Yep.
Unfortunately, biodegradable doesn't mean very much at all. Plastic is technically biodegradable.
So yeah, right.
We are actually compostable dog poo bags. And
as you say on the packaging, not plastic, fully compostable.
Yeah. So compostability is a technical, very small slither of biodegradability. But when you see biodegradable on things, it actually just means it's got plastic in it.
All right, dog poo geek.
Yeah, I know.
How did you become involved in this business? Because you've got such a deep love of marketing and business, and you've had success in other areas of your life in regards to business.
Yeah.
Dog poo.
Dog poo. I always grew up in the country. I always had dogs.
Surrounded by poo.
Cows, sheep, chickens, whatever colour, whatever thing. Yeah. Got to know it pretty well. And I met this guy online via a friend.
Sounding weird already, but keep going.
Many of my experiences.
No judgment.
And through that, I helped him fix the website. It was a WordPress thing, and at the time, that was just one of the things I could do really well, really quickly. His problem actually took me a good hour or 2 to fix, and it was so simple in the end. But after we jumped on a call afterwards, got to know each other, and that turned into like a 3-hour conversation for no apparent reason. And at the time, I was in the UK, and he was here in Australia. So at the time, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning by the time I'm finished. But this guy is just incredible. And
in what way?
We just
hit it off.
Hit it off. He just has an incredible way of always asking interesting questions. And for me, at 20, sort of 7, 8 at the time, you just love talking.
Yep.
So this guy is just bringing all this information out of me. He was also an ex-basketball player and now has coached for 30 years or 45 years, as he told me the other day.
So you have just taken to this fellow and he's seen something in you.
Yeah.
He's looking for a co-founder of an idea that he had.
Yeah, so he had the idea back in 2014. It was still another year till we met up face-to-face. And he had 4 or 5 businesses, ideas, and he's very much big vision, big thinking. And it took us to meet up in 2017. And the second we met up face-to-face for the first time, it was like, wow, okay, this is a real thing.
Wow.
And pretty much instantly, he's saying to me, can you give up all of your other consulting and your other businesses? And I want to do this, and I want you to be it, to be the main thing.
Was that a surprise to you, or was that something that you were hoping he'd say? Did you sort of navigate the conversation with him to the point that...
No, I think at the time, being, I think, 28, 29, I was very... I almost had a pride in doing so many things. And I almost had that, what I know now, you probably shouldn't do is focus on 4 or 5 side projects, and had a few clients in marketing. So I almost had that pride that I was so good at multitasking. I could do so many things and worked on so many projects and things. Just
tell me that stat. You talking about yourself before we hit record. There are 34, what did you call them, disciplines within marketing?
Yeah, so over the years...
Of which you have mastered 30. Is this
right?
right?
I think I've mastered 30. So I think people would have classed me today as a full stack marketer. And within that, you'd say there's about 34 main disciplines in marketing. And...
so we're talking like copywriting, email automation, website management, SEO.
Bit of coding,
pricing,
split testing. Right. So there's a lot. And I think I can confidently say I'm the top 10% in about 30 of them. I've probably got 4 weaker ones.
What are
they? One certainly historically has been copywriting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
2. Number 2. Keep going. Come on.
Oh, we're gonna embarrass me here.
Oh, no, it's interesting. It's great that you can. Well, 30 out of 34 ain't bad, right? And
and
do you find that is that difficult? We're sort of going away from how do you become involved in a dog poo company, but I think we got the gist of that. But is that a difficult? What do you call it? Having that many skills, have you learnt to go? You know what? If I try to do everything, I'm going to do a half-assed job, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're such a perfectionist that whatever you apply your skill to, you do it to the nth degree. But it still takes your eye off the main game, which is you can't do everything well, right?
Yeah, I think it's a yes and no answer. In some ways, yes, because I can start a website in an hour, get the whole thing going. So does that mean on a Saturday I have a business idea and try it by Sunday? 100%. Could I have spent that time doing something more productive? Also, 100%. So it's a double-edged sword.
So your dog poo, right? Dog poo bags. It's more than dog poo. It's dog poo bags, and you have decided that's where you're going to allocate your time and energy. You are an owner of this business. Simon Sinek talks a lot about if you know your why, then everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I talk to business owners who are incredibly successful in a particular business because they like business. They don't necessarily like the product or service they sell. It's just they love business and they see a great opportunity and upside to bringing that business to life. Where do you live? Do you have a deep why and passion around the amount of dog poo that gets put into plastic bags and thrown into bins and doesn't degrade? Or do you just have a deep passion in creating a great business, no matter what it is?
At the start, it was to create a great business. It was almost an extension of so many other things I had done before. It felt so natural as a business. Over the years, I've become a lot more educated and understanding of the wider dog poo, but the wider sustainability topic. And now I don't think I'd describe myself as a green warrior and someone who just, don't do that or else, and walk 100 Ks because you don't want to drive a car. I'm not that person. There is some practicality to the world we live in. But I think over the last 3 years, so I've been doing this business for about 6, and Bruce brought me in pretty early. And, we became business partners pretty much when we met each other. He was very much driving that side of things. It was his moment back in 2014 that created the idea itself. But I think over the last 3 years, I've really developed a lot more of an understanding about the environmental impact of what's happening. And I read a really good book called Sustainable-ish. And it basically talks about all of these areas that we just do day to day without thinking, and the tiny differences we can make. So one of the things that really got me in that particular book I read a couple of years ago was when you go to the supermarket, all your meat's wrapped in plastic, and it's just plastic. And most of it still can't be recycled because it's hard plastic and it just seems silly. But one of the really simple tips was take your own containers to the supermarket or to the butcher, you know, put your Tupperware, say, hey, can you put my chicken and anything you want in here? And it's just really small things like that over the years I think I've started putting in my life completely. And now I am absolutely obsessed with every single dog owner becoming eco-friendly. And I even walk past people. It's got to the point where I walk past people and I don't look at their dog. Like they might have the most gorgeous dog, new puppy, don't mind. I'm only looking at the lead and their dog poo bags that they have on their lead. And then if I've woken up and wrong side of bed, I'll even get my heart will start going and I get annoyed. And I think there's why are you doing that?
You've come right around.
Yeah, I'm really on the side of it's so easy now to not pollute where we don't need to, and there's so many options now.
Explain the product, H. You've got the main product of these bags, 60 bags made from cornstarch, biodegradable, not plastic, fully compostable, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
That's your bread and butter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got we mainly sell online. Most of our stuff is B2C from the website to our OCRAP family. That's our community. And so on the website we've got a 1 month pack, 6 month, and a 12 month. And they basically, the number of bags in them corresponds roughly to the month. And then we have a mega poo pack because...
I saw that. 1,500?
Yeah, 1,500. So if you've got a couple of dogs or you're part of a dog club or something, people go for the mega poop pack. And
then you got the handed dog poop bag, which is...
So we've got a handled... So our dog poo bags, let's call them, they're just rectangles. And we did have handles for a bit, but we realized that if you make a dog poo bag with handles, you have to cut out the middle bit where the handle is. So that actually creates waste and energy that's used. So even though the cornstarch can go back into, so our bags are made from cornstarch, even though that cutout can go back into production, you've still created energy through the process. So we actually went to our rectangular ones, the main ones now. But we also have a group and people that really want handle bags. And so Bruce, my business partner, big vision, always thinking, realized that for the vision impaired market and people who can't see quite as well, having handle bags is really important. And even more important is that on dog toileting harnesses, they're a certain width across, and there's no dog poop.
We're getting into very, very deep detail here.
We are. So
dog food bags.
We realized...
What I love about it sounds like Bruce is a man who is he's got ideas, but he actually implements them. And that's always interesting because, there's no shortage of ideas. The magic is in the action. Is there something inside the business? Is there a process or something inside the business where you guys have ideas, you share them on a weekly basis, or how does that sort of show itself?
So really on a weekly basis, we talk to each other every day. Right. It's impossible not to. We do have a specific once a week product meeting. And a lot of the time he'll put him in a room, let him go. Right. But increasingly over the years, I've been coming up with more and more ideas too. So for instance, it's very technical, but you've got some bags in front of you that have a sticker on the front. And that sticker is sort of the standard ones that pretty much any dog poo bag has in Australia. We actually, about 6 months ago, we realized that sticker tears lots of dog poo bags. And so we actually brainstormed, and this was my idea coming to the table, brainstorms and actually made it perforated down the middle.
Oh, yeah.
So the bags separate
Brilliant.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So we actually wanted to make the best dog poo bag in the world, not just a compostable one or one that breaks down in 3 months, whatever. We want the best dog poo bag, hands down. So that was one of the things that came out of, just those one of the weekly meetings and just made it happen.
So ideas are welcome, which is great.
Yeah.
They're encouraged. What's the criteria? Is it a gut feeling when you and Bruce sort of sit together and go, oh, hang on, that feels pretty good, just do it, H? Or is there some kind of 5-point filter system that you got to go through?
There's, I'm generally the voice of reason for Bruce. That's
Right.
my position.
Okay. Mad inventor, rational guy. It's sort of like Back to the Future with what's his name?
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox and the Mad Professor. I can't remember the two characters' names. That's what it sounds like, though.
Yeah, it really can be. And Bruce will phone me with this crazy idea, and sometimes I'll just shut him down straight away. And I can hear I can feel the air just gone.
Oh, H.
But sometimes, and I say to him sometimes, look, feel free to come back and just keep going on at me. I've said, if you feel strongly enough, keep telling me until I get it. So it has to, I guess, product ideas have to come to a point where I get it. And sort of the initial brainstorms don't always hit that mark, and that's fine. That's just where we've got to. So some things might take 3 months, and then I'll get it and I'll see the vision. And when I can see the vision, I can get the team and me to implement it.
But trying to figure out how to ask this question respectfully, because you're both really smart guys. I don't know Bruce, but you've spoken about Bruce. I know you, and I know your depth of marketing knowledge and business skill sets. You are running. You are the co-founder of a business that's turning over just over $1 million a year and has done for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Albeit COVID's created a supply problem for you. So I'm guessing part of your answer is going to be, we just can't get enough supply, so why create the demand? But and I love interviewing small businesses like yours because there's so much we can learn from you guys. Is there a frustration in you that this is not a $100 million business? It feels like it should be.
Yeah. So it's actually a couple of years ago. We were running as a family business. So I actually had a part-time job through most of the time we built this business, and ended up hiring basically Bruce and a team of 3. So most of the business was created without me at the start, sort of on a day-to-day basis. And I was really lucky. I worked with a mentor who has taught me so much. So I'm really lucky to have sat next to that mentor on a part-time basis through growing this as well, until a couple of years ago where I got to step across. One of the things that I noticed when we stepped across is the whole thing was being run as a family business. Just we accepted stock.
Do you say that in like it was quite hokey? It was quite cottage-like.
Yeah. An email would come in that might have an interesting customer question on, and every single person in the business would get CC'd. Oh, does anyone know an answer? And,
okay. Totally inefficient.
Yeah, totally inefficient. Everyone would start answering. You'd have email chains of like 30 long. We'd all disagree with each other. And then at the time, there was no real separation between Bruce and I. I, as the marketer, essentially ran the day-to-day business. But at the same time, Bruce was perceived as the idea giver and, the founder of the idea. So people would listen to him as well. And he would have people running off to do one set of marketing. I would have people going the other. It was a pretty nightmare.
Right. You must have thought, what have I done then? Or I suppose you'd been with the business long enough before you made the leap into it full time that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I think at some points I did think, why did I give up some really cool consulting jobs? Why did I give up my side projects in those first couple of years? Because there was no real definition between Bruce and I. And everyone knew that I was sort of marketing and driving, but no one would quite do anything unless they'd also checked it with the vision person.
Yeah, right.
And so, but as I was moving across, I realized that the whole thing was a family company. And,
there's something really beautiful about that, but it's also, there's something very limiting about it potentially.
Yeah. And so we actually came up and I gave a bit of a talk to everyone and said, hey, did you realize we're all doing this? And one of the exact things we came up with was how should we think as a business? And one of the things that we came up with was starting a sentence with, as a $100 million company, that was literally our number. And then fill in what you're just about to do. And then there's so many things you fill in the end of that sentence with, and you sound so stupid.
Yeah.
Like we've
Give me an
had
example.
well, we've had stock issues for quite a long time. We're getting better now. We're just getting through that. But for the 2 years, the sort of COVID 2 years, we sort of just lived out of stock for 3 months at a time, and everyone in the business accepted it without question. Oh, this is just what we've got to deal with. But if you say, as a $100 million company, we've been out of stock for half of the last 2 years, that sounds stupid. And we've done nothing actively to change that except rely on the people we had at the start. There's other things that would come in, like there was one particular email I remember from a surf club in WA that said, hey, love your product. I'm part of a surf club. I'd love to share it with everyone. Have you got anything specifically that I can share it, with everyone? And Bruce got this email, Bruce, business partner. In his world, individual person, he's going to create the world for that individual person.
Yeah. Let's do it for anyone who wants to share it with their friendship group or their clubs or their...
Yeah, but I'm going to phone you specifically up.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to have a conversation. We're going to see the opportunities in your world, and we're going to create a program just for you. Then I remember having this very specific conversation with Bruce being, we can't create new...
Not every time.
Every time. What this looks like is we have now a partnership program. You want to be part of a partnership program, come and join us. If you fit, here's your assets, here's what we do.
Great idea.
Let's do it. So there were things like that. And as a $100 million company, we create programs for everyone that turns up. Just sounds ridiculous. So there's stuff like that. There's also not having systems at certain times in some places. As a $100 million company, we have an easy returns policy. We now have to have a system for that. As a family business, people send us stuff whenever they want. It's a different mindset. So $100 million company was actually one of the specific things that we now say and do.
And that's still part of day-to-day business, the day-to-day mindset.
Every day. And the $100 million, I'm going to say it on this podcast, $100 million is the aim because I know how to do this with dog poo bags, and I know how much I have to do this for the world now. That's where I've sort of changed over the years, is that I feel that this is something that we have to do and I have to be a part of to make this happen. So that's one of the massive shifts. And another one was we saw a really interesting, YouTube short, 60 seconds, by someone called Teal Swan. Slightly controversial in some ways, I think she is, but in my world, I saw her thing, and it basically says, as a person who loves themselves for 365 days, what do you choose to do each day? Do you eat the pizza at night, or do you go for a run? When you wake up, do you rush around having breakfast and all the stuff, or do you wake up 10 minutes earlier and go through the day, in a nice way? So we actually took that idea and say, as a company that loves themselves, what do we do in this situation? And we've actually changed some packaging to do with, we 100% has to be sustainable. We can't cut corners. We have to figure out how the whole thing looks holistically, not just that will make more money. And so that's been another...
Sounds to me, and I know I want to talk to you about copycats, because it's sort of a simple business to copy, and I know you've had lots of problems with that. So I want to understand, how have you dealt with copycats? And the reality is, I imagine that these copycats aren't direct copies, because you're doing everything right from an environmental point of view. You like the packaging, everything's sustainable and biodegradable and all that kind of stuff. Whereas a copycat could simply come in and look like you and probably be plastic and pass off. Right. So that would be super frustrating. So tell us about the whole copycat thing. When did one first come along, and how have you handled them? Lots of cease and desist letters, or do you just get on with telling your own story?
Get on with telling your own story. At this point, we don't care because there's so many. I was pretty hurt on the first one, thinking you've just literally tried to just steal everything we've done. But at this point, I don't care. We produce in China and India. We are looking at other places. We'd love to Australia. Money, if people want product for a certain amount of money, they've got to. Yeah, well,
that's the other
prices.
part. That's because the way you go about business sounds to me like your bags. It's expensive. It's at the higher end to manufacture. You're doing everything the right way. It's like it's like organic food is expensive. It's expensive to be healthy. and it's quite frustrating as a consumer that it's like that. But
It is.
You're sort of cutting off your nose to spite your face and limiting growth by going about business the way you do.
We've taken certain decisions. We'll put what's the sustainable factor in front of money first. Everywhere that we do produce, we've got endless amounts of paperwork behind the scenes of how it's all done. Bruce has been to the factories. We've visually seen everything. We've touched, we've felt stuff there. We've got every single health and safety thing.
I imagine this encourages consumers to become raving fans. So correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you don't just have people who are looking for the cheapest product, cheapest disposable dog poo bag. You have these people who are just like, man, I'm in this with you. Let's save the world one dog poo at a time.
Yeah.
And then once you've got them, they're with you forever. They're probably the minority. I could be wrong here, but maybe generationally, maybe the younger generation, they are the majority, whereas maybe my generation, there is a minority. They're less inclined to be like that. But you do have this group of fans that just love what you do.
Yeah, it is a real thing, and you become part of the OCRAP family. You become a planet hero. And
how do you nurture these people?
We don't have any sort of upfront email capture, anything. It's always just been when you buy the product, you're in and you're part of the family.
No marketing funnel.
Well, no, we do.
No, I say that facetiously.
we have all the ads, we have all that stuff, but we don't have an email capture up front. When you do all the ads and you become, buy the products and you're sort of in. We do stuff like, I actually printed a few things out for this, is when you first join us, obviously you get the confirmation email from Shopify to say, hey, your order's confirmed, here it is. But the next, if it's the same between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., we actually send a personal email out to customers.
If they buy between those hours?
Yeah. And we actually literally just thank them for joining up. And we have...
When you say personal, like, are you writing it from scratch, or are you just, it's just putting insert first name?
Yeah, so there is email automations, but we write the whole thing looking like a Gmail email. So this, all of our emails are naked text. We don't add any, logos and all sorts of other stuff around. It looks like it's 100% personal.
I love it. I want to keep going down that path, but I'm so big on text, on emails, marketing emails that just look like you've sent it directly from your computer.
Yeah.
All these, and I've just been going through setting up an email automation for Sarah, my girlfriend, and there are so many templates, fancy looking templates, and that's exactly what they're bright, shiny objects that take you, the creator, and the recipient's eye off the ball, because all at the end of the day you want to do is engage with these people and offer value to them. And
we say thank you for joining us in a really loud voice. Thank you for switching to non-plastic dog poo bags, because that is the jump that people are making from generally plastic to non-plastic. And, we say, if you have any questions, feel free to reply. This is a human at the other end. Yes, it's automated, but we are here.
Yes.
And we specifically send them 8 till 4. So we're actually at our desks. You reply, we're there. And that email gets like 70% opens, 50% replies. People just say, oh, thanks, awesome to hear, you're there, thanks for making this product. We get all kinds of replies.
And that's another simple tip. Like, I do this in my email automations where I'll just put PS, hit reply if you've got something to say. Because so often I cannot stand it when you get an email from these big companies that, in capital letters, do not reply. Really?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't. It's bananas. And I know as the company gets bigger, that's a harder thing to manage, but there are still ways, right? And personalization's a very big trend in marketing these days because we can do it so simply.
Yeah. And all of our emails through the entire chain, doesn't matter where you are, it's all personal Gmail style. I literally kind of whipped this up this morning for you.
Yep.
Even in some of our emails, they'll reference, happy Monday. I hope you're doing well this morning, because it's sent at 11 a.m. every Monday. People see that and they know it's personal.
Yep.
And all of our emails have a reply that you could send to it. Whether we're advertising to say, hey, come back to us, buy some more dog poo bags, or even in the initial stage. So there's a thank you email when you sign up. If you join us at the weekend, we will send the email on Monday. And so we'll even wait till office hours start.
Yeah, right.
And then about 30 days in, we just have a very simple email that goes out and says, hey, just want to check in. How are your dog poo bags going?
Mm-hmm.
And that will get so many replies.
And that's such a simple email. It's the old 9-word email.
I got it exactly.
Joe Polish. Is it Joe Polish or he's offside, Dean?
Yeah, Dean.
Whatever, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a great email strategy, that one, where you just simply ask a question.
Yeah.
How are the dog poo bags going?
Yeah.
And people go, that's awesome. Just a simple question. Hit reply.
And people at that point are really becoming part of the OCRAP family.
Yep.
Like, it's a thing they go and tell their friends.
Yep.
Because most e-com companies don't reach out to people. They don't.
Most companies don't.
Well, most companies don't.
You are an e-com company. Majority of your sales are done through your own website.
Yeah.
You're not in the big supermarket chains who I'm sure want to screw you for every cent.
Yep. We've had conversations, yep.
Okay. But surely to get to to get to a $100 million company like you talk about is going to require you to be in Coles and Woolworths and IGAs of the world, or not?
Yes, so that's a shift that's taken place in our minds the last couple of years. We think of ourselves as the Mercedes of dog poo bags.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be very high end. And in the first couple of years at the initial growth part, there was only really us, or there was probably 10 companies, but we really made an effort to be the best in that sort of very small business space. Over the last 6 months, lots of big companies have come in. They've all gone, hey, compostable's a thing. And to me, it's been a thing for years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, did you know you can get compostable dog poo bags? And you're like, yep, it's been around for ages. We've been doing this.
Yep.
But all these companies are coming in and really fighting for our turf.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I remember a day in November last year, a couple of months ago. And I remember literally just one day, all the traffic for our website just went sideways. And then Google decided to change and has listed 4 majors above us and the whole thing. So, but during last year as well,
you would have been devastated on that day, Henry.
Yeah, it was tough because
just tell me about it, mate. You're still carrying a little bit of that load?
Yeah, it felt like people were attacking us, and it really felt like someone had gone, okay, you guys have done a good start.
Yeah, we've got it from here.
Yeah, it's all right, guys. Small company, you've done that.
Yeah.
We're 100 million. We'll sort it out from here, guys. But you look at their stuff and it's how can we make the compostable dog poo bag the cheapest? That's a legit thing to do as well. But not even pay attention to small things like packaging. All of the ink on the packaging is water soluble, and
Where do you tell all these stories? Because one of the things I love about the OCRAP brand is that and with all respect, it's a dog poo bag.
Yeah, it is.
Right? But you've created a brand, and by that I mean an emotional attachment between you and your buyers, your prospects, your customers, and you find stories everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Which is great because, again, there are stories everywhere. I think so many business owners think, no one would be interested in that side of the business or that side of the business, but people are, and it makes people lean in and take notice. Where do these stories, outside of you sharing this on a podcast interview, because we're talking about marketing, but where do these stories surface? Do you have a series of videos on your YouTube channel? Are there blog posts?
We're very Instagram heavy and Facebook heavy. We get so many replies to our emails saying, how are your dog poo bags going? And we'll get pictures of, this is the walk we went on. I feels really good to be part of, now a community making a difference. We do have an email that encourages people to share on Instagram and use a hashtag. And so we'll take that when people share it and reshare it on our Instagram as well. And, people dress their dogs up in our dog poo bags and made ties out of them.
Now we're getting weird, H.
Yeah.
Back on track, please, mate.
It's a whole, it really does, from my personal point of view, it feels good to be part of such a moving, energetic community. And every day we're getting stories. We even get phone calls, real phone calls, maybe part of a wider conversation. Hey, I'm part of a dog club or this, but hey, this is the difference that it's made. When I go to the beach, I don't feel bad anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big emotional shift for so many people.
So just going back to the big supermarket chains, where do we end up on that? Are you going to, because I remember interviewing Jamie Cook, who is one of the 3 creators of a wonderful craft beer, Stone and Wood, that we all know and love, second best craft beer in Australia. First time I interviewed Jamie, boutique beer, you can buy us down in Byron and surrounds, but, we're not going anywhere. You're not going to go into Dan Murphy's? No way. Never going to sell? No way, not to a big brewery. I've interviewed him subsequent. Next interview, he was in Dan Murphy's. Next interview, he'd sold out to, I think, the big Japanese brewery or one of the big breweries. Money talks.
Yeah.
And he'd had a wonderful staff profit share program. They were really, it was a really beautiful little run business, but money talks. Are you going to be forced into the big, am I going to interview in 2 years' time and you are going to be in Coles and Woolworths and taking the hit on margin because you need the distribution?
Yes, is essentially the answer. May not be under the OCRAP brand. Our bags are an awful lot more expensive to produce. You can produce compostable for cheaper than we do. We, as a brand and as a company, have chosen not to on certain points. To be in those supermarkets, you have to hit certain price points. To do that, you have to. It's the go in the supermarket, the own brand versus the commercial brand style. We have some opportunities this year based off a mindset shift of last year, saying now we have to go and meet people where they're at. We can't make everyone come to our website. Coming to a website just to order dog poo bags, when you go to Pet Circle and Pet Barn, all these places you go to pick up.
It's inconvenient.
It's inconvenient. It really is. And especially the mid-20s to 40 range that don't have all the time, that don't, sit on their computers, but they don't, they just go to the shops, on their weekly run. We need to meet those people because that's where we will reach the target of changing everyone to compostable.
Let's talk, actually I want to talk I want to talk marketing because you've got some great insights into marketing, but brand extension wise, again, going back to this growth question, supply is limited because of COVID. You're doing everything the right way and not growing at 100 miles an hour. Brand extension, and you've got some brand extension. You've got urine stain remover, you've got dog poop carry bags, you've got all this kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I noticed in America, I've been watching this for a while, I've been wanting to interview one of the franchisors actually of these companies that do dog poop pickups. So they come to your home and they clean your backyard.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
There's the big franchises. One's called Poop 911. And there was another one with a very funny name and I just couldn't find it prior to the interview. But it would have, to me, obvious brand extension for you. Quite a leap out of being a manufacturer of bags into a franchise that people are picking up dog poo. But have you thought sort of that broadly in terms of what else could be done to grow the brand, the OCRAP brand?
Yes, we do. We do have a number of other things outside of just the dog poo bags. One, for instance, we do have council bollards. And again, this is like a 2-year, how can we make the best council bollard you can?
What's a bollard?
So the dispensers that you get your dog poo from, so those sort of bollards, we made them as bollards anyway, because it's one of the big problems. People go to dog parks and just rip all the bags out and take 200 for themselves.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No, never are. Good stuff. So you won't like ours because they have a locking mechanism, so it's a lot harder to go through the whole lot.
One at a time.
Yeah. So we have that, and we are in a couple of councils, but we're not in. Again, lots of dog poo bags are in council, so as a company, we need to be there too. We also realised that essentially on our website, we're a one-trick pony until mid last year. So something that's really passionate for me as well is food. I grew up in the country. I respect where food comes from. If I had to go and look after a sheep on a hillside that's ill overnight, I was up there in the driving rain and all the rest. And so to me, I can very much see where food comes from. And making that sustainable as well. And so we've recently released some dog treats, and that's pretty important for us. So we've got the back end and the front end covered, and
So the thinking there is that the Oh Crap brand develops a meaning well beyond being a biodegradable bag to pick up dog poo. You want to sort of see go into other parts of dog ownership and sustainability.
And then, so there will be a secondary brand within that that we're working on right now. So I'll keep it under wraps. But you can't obviously have dog food that's called crap. So
True.
So there will be a secondary brand within that. But yeah, Oh Crap, the umbrella is how can we make pet ownership as sustainable as possible?
I mean, we laugh at you can't have a food brand called Oh Crap. I'm trying to get an interview with the founder of Death Water.
Okay.
It's a brand in America that's gone absolutely bananas. It's canned water. It's called Death. And, you probably would have said, we can't do that. I'm sure many people did. And the way they promote it is also, so off the chain. It's incredible. But maybe you can have a food brand for dogs called Oh Crap.
Maybe we can.
Who knows? You shouldn't discount that so quickly. Let's talk about marketing, because you do love the discipline.
I do.
You've got 4 things. I'm sure there's many more, Henry, but we only have limited, well, I don't really have limited time. It's a podcast, mate, Joe Rogan. I listened to an interview actually with Lex Friedman. And Lex Friedman, it was like a 4.5-hour interview. It's like, awesome. If the conversation's interesting enough, keep it going.
That's it.
Some philosophies around marketing. Your first one, keep it super simple. It's easy to be complicated.
Yes.
It's easy to be verbose.
Yeah.
Give us an example of where you've kept it super simple and it's worked.
I think we'll go back to something we mentioned earlier, just with emails. Forget the shiny stuff that doesn't connect.
Yep.
Human to human.
Yep.
You can't beat, even if it's a 9-word email, 3-sentence email, keep it simple, keep it text, connect with someone.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing to me. On the website, remember the pain points that customers come to you with, and just highlight them and provide an answer. I'll say it's not that hard, but we can overcomplicate it.
Totally. And as business owners, it's like our business is our baby, and we want to tell everyone. It's like the grandmother who's got their new grandson or granddaughter, and they just want to tell you everything about them. And it's like most people don't care.
Yep.
What they do care about is how it affects them.
Yep. So, and we've got a whole about page. 10% of people go there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
90% don't care. They have a problem. They have plastic dog poo bags they don't want to use anymore because they feel bad, and it is affecting the environment. And you're putting an organic dog poo in a plastic bag, and it will never break down. That's the problem they're trying to solve. So you come to our website, and we now have a live counter, so that actually shows how many dog poo bags have been used in the country.
Awesome.
So far this month.
How many this month, do you know?
We're about halfway through. So we'll be about 100 million so far through this month so far. It's about 186 million used every month in this country. That's 1.5 times around the world of dog poo bags.
Wow.
That's a lot of,
Just in this country?
Just in this country.
Wow.
So we first off, we double down on the problem just to make sure everyone's fully aware.
Yep.
And say, our dog poo bags are different. Point out why they're different. This is how it solves that problem. They can possible. And for us, we actually put the main 3 packs that we sell, the 1 month, 6 and 12, on the homepage. So you can buy them straight from the homepage. Effectively a one product company or one main product company. That's the design that I think really works. 100%. We've got, I hate to throw numbers out. We've got a 25% conversion rate. It's so simple.
You talk about clear steps to failing, H. What do you mean by that? You failed a bit?
Yeah, I failed a bit. This almost comes back to keeping it simple as well. But something that over the years, I'm a marketer. I like split testing things. I like finding out if things work. And I think as a business owner, you can get very attached to an idea, but you have to see the numbers on it.
Yes.
And you can't just make a change and not back it up with numbers, because we've tried things like including shipping in the price.
Makes the price look super expensive.
It does. And what did that do? Killed conversion rates. Or it didn't kill it. It had a serious effect on it. And another one, for instance, is at the start of social media, we struggled a lot, to be honest. And also with ads. I grew the company mostly with Facebook ads in 2008 and 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It probably took me 10 goes to find the wording, the combination of words, how we even present the product, what connects with people. And I remember probably for 10 months just having a repeating, I'll try this.
What made you keep going? Because I come across so many business owners who and we'll use Facebook ads as an example. It's a good example. Business owners thinking, you ask them, how's your Facebook advertising going? They say, I hate it. It doesn't work. And I get that because having an advertising background. You got to have the right image, the right headline, the right link, the right landing page, the right targeting, the right time. There's so many variables to get right in Facebook advertising. And that's why business owners who don't know what I'm about to share give up after the second attempt. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you've kept going. You just got to keep tweaking. It could be the headline. It could be the color of the link. It could be the image used.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep split testing and just make it a game and try and beat the best one and delete the other one, it's like, well, then you are going to give up. What made you keep going? You just knew that at some point you were going to crack the code.
I think that's probably a part of it, certainly. And also, each time I did something, I learned from it and intentionally went back and learned. And I think that's been one of the biggest things is, okay, neither of these ideas really worked at all, but is there something about either of them that may have worked in some way? For instance, we did city-specific ads for a bit. So Sydney dog owners do this, Melbourne dog owners this. And it twigged to me that adding localization helped, but the ad still didn't do very well. It got more click-throughs, but the conversion rate wasn't higher. So that did say to me, well, we can definitely get more traffic by doing this style of ad. Obviously said the landing page and stuff was crap, but at least that part of the process was better. So from the next one, I included, okay, we'll go localization again, but then we'll change, the wording around compostability and how we use emojis to make it easy to read and quick to read. And so it's just adding over time. And so, yes, then we got localization, that was better. Let's add on the emojis to represent compostability in environment. Okay, now we've got more clicks from that. Okay, so landing page isn't converting. Okay, let's go to that next. So I think to me, and truthfully, it was $200 experiments at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in 2008, it was Bruce and I. That was the company. Yeah. Bruce was doing a bit of customer service, packing orders and sending them out, and I was marketing. And it wasn't until late 2008 we got our first employee. And so, money was a real thing, and totally. $200 experiments were things we had to do.
What's the most effective marketing play you've ever put in place?
That's
where you've gone, wow, geez, didn't expect that, or maybe you did.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. It was probably the OCRAP website how it is today, and most standard ecom websites have all their products hidden a page or two in. And I realized pretty quick that because we were advertising on Facebook so much, it had to be mobile friendly because that's where most of the traffic comes through. So if you look at our website on your desktop, it looks pretty crap, to be honest. But I specifically, back in 2008 or 2018, designed a website for mobile, nothing else. And so it looks really good on mobile. And conversion rates, and they're moving products, our main products, from deeper pages to the homepage. Biggest game changer I've ever done.
Interesting. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, easy to find. The story was all in front of people. It was there.
It's so funny. I'm building a website. I just finished building a website with Sarah, and you've got to look at. You fall into the trap of looking at it on your desktop on a big screen, which is, I'm sure, the minority of people who end up looking at it on a big screen. So the better thing is to look at the development of your website on your phone or your tablet and seeing how it's looking.
Interestingly, through COVID and more and more work from home,
true,
the desktop usage went significantly back up.
Yeah.
However, there is a slight trend back the other way again.
Yeah.
But I do think desktop will be around a bit more because people wander off during the day and work from home and,
Yes.
just check out that. Oh, there's an advert. So I do think, funny enough, desktop might have more of a place than we thought a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's making a resurgence.
Yes.
One of the things I love about the Oh Crap brand is that you're sort of developing a lexicon of your own language, which I love a brand that has its own language. You call yourself the chief I'll start again. You call yourself the chief crapologist. That's your title on your email signature.
Yes.
Doggy yoga. The downward dog is when one of your customers picks up poo.
Yep.
Doing the downward dog.
Yeah.
Doggy chocolates is your code for dog poo. Are these things that are just organically, excuse the pun, being added, or are you actively trying to create a lexicon for the brand?
We call them crapisms.
Nice.
So that's literally our word. Yeah. I think every time we write an email, stuff comes up.
It does write itself, this brand, right?
Yeah.
There's no shortage of gags.
Yeah, I'm really lucky that it's this brand and this world. But I think every time we write an email, a couple of months ago, we came up with Pawsome for awesome. Furry friend. We never really say dog, because I think dog is, in the pet space, if you have a dog, you see dog everywhere.
Yep.
So our version is furry friend or fur baby in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for some people, fur baby can be a bit sort of in their face. They don't like it, but we found furry friend works. Yeah, it's. I'd say it's an organic process. Every time we do a major campaign,
boom, boom.
Yeah,
it certainly is. The whole business is an organic process. What have you done about influencers? We touched on the fact that you do have raving fans and people do love what you do. Have you gone down the path of tapping a few influencers on the shoulder, or it's just...
We tried. It's for us, we've never found, at the moment, it's still we're 3 years into the process of trying to make it work.
Yep.
We'll keep going. We know it's there. We haven't made it work so far. I'm happy to keep failing as long as it takes, because I know there's something there. We do have something just about ready to go, specifically more around dog clubs and that side of things. Right. Because they're more organized, but very close communities. So, fingers crossed. I'll say it's an area I've completely failed at for 3 years, but we'll get it right eventually.
H, you and I had a chat before we went on air about ChatGPT, about AI.
Yep.
It's taking over the world. You and I both lost hours over Christmas playing with it, and it is fun. And last week's episode, it was with Harry Sanders, a leading SEO guy, where we went deep into ChatGPT. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, have a listen to last week's episode. But suffice to say, it's a very conversational chat robot. It's a simple website, key in a question as if you're asking a human, and it comes back to you real time. I went in and said, listen, I'm interviewing the owner of a fully compostable dog poo bag. What funny business questions would you ask him? Yes. So ChatGPT came back to me within about 2 seconds, and I won't read them all, but there are some good ones here.
Yeah.
First one, can you share any funny or memorable customer feedback you've received about your bags?
Yeah. A good one. I think some of the best ones are people out walking their dogs, and I think the very best one.
They don't send photos, do they?
Yeah. They send we got photos of hundreds of dogs.
Not of poo.
Yeah. We got poo.
Unnecessary.
Photos. But I think my very favourite one, and I'm really sorry to whoever this was who wrote to us, but they said our bags are very clearly advertised as dog poo bags, but they did write to us back and said, I just want to ask, can we use it for our cat?
Oh, no, they'll immediately implode.
No, so I'm very sorry to that person, but that was one that really got me, just with how strong our marketing must be.
Yes.
That we don't know, think it's that strong, but they asked the question, so that was one.
Not easy to find a cat poo, by the way. I've got a cat, and, they're quite private creatures.
They are.
Another question from ChatGPT, the artificial intelligence bot. If your dog poo bags were a celebrity, who would they be and why? But you've never thought about this.
I haven't. If I had to go off the top of my head,
yes.
if we were a company, we would say Apple and Nike. I think Apple go to the nth degree with the experience. Both Bruce is an ex-basketball player, so has quite a big affinity with sports brands. and we've both read the Shoe Dog Nike story. So if you haven't read that book, for us as small business owners, how Nike started really was wheeling and dealing trainers and starting. So for us, we have a connection, maybe not to the company of today, but to the story of how it started. And we feel that story every day in our world, and we reference that in some meetings because that was a really impactful book on us.
Both not very. There's no humour in those two brands at all.
No.
And it's interesting around Oh Crap. I mean, from a name point of view, it's a very funny name.
Yeah.
There is a charm in the fact that you've got some language around, crapologist and doggy yoga and all these kind of things. It's probably a leading question because I think it could, but correct me if I'm wrong. Could humour be used more in your brand? Because at the end of the day, we're picking up dog poo.
Yeah.
Or is it just too serious a business because you're saving the world and the people who your ideal customer is a little bit more, on a crusade, and this ain't funny?
I think we use a lot of humor anyway. I don't think we never edit humor out. I'll put it that way. So if we come up with something, and especially me being maybe on the younger side and now being mid 30s, most of our audience tend to be slightly older than me. Generally, I've done jokes that will work with maybe a younger audience, but we've left them in, and I'm fine with that. We're fine with making mistakes. We've had some real mess ups on humor over the years, and we just have to learn from it and move on. So there's nothing that we edit out. And when Bruce and I get talking, we get the crapisms going and we just go from there. So
here's a very funny question from the AI. If your bags could talk, what would they say? It's like, oh no, don't do that.
They would say, "Oh crap!" Exactly.
They would say,
literally,
crap.
as it goes in.
Very
That's what
true.
they would do.
Very true. Oh boy, it's a black hole, that AI stuff, and I'm sure you and I will go back into it after this interview. It's a good story, H. I feel like it's very much in the making.
It is. I feel like we've had those first 5 years, or really since Bruce's original idea in 2014, but since we joined forces in 2017 and created the OCRAP brand. I feel like we've had 5 years of baby steps, and now we're ready to really go after the mission and eradicate that 4% landfill that's dog poo. So,
mate,
we're on the mission.
Go for it. And you're moving to the sunny coast, so life's going to be very, very good for you very shortly.
It is. I feel like I could get very distracted up here.
Welcome to my world.
But I will say the council up here, one of the reasons that I really want to be here is the council up here did a promotion a couple of years ago, specifically wanting to bring in more sustainable businesses.
Oh, awesome.
And ever since I talked to them, I've been obsessed with wanting to be around this space. So I do think, for us, we're obviously a sustainable company, but I do think companies are making more of a conscious choice around sustainability and where they might place themselves longer term. So, I want to be part of the sustainability crowd up here and, have fun.
I'm going to break all interview rules here, Henry, and I pick my guests carefully when I ask this question, which is there anything left to be said? But you've come very prepared for this interview. I was very much looking forward to it. Is there one insight or story or tip that you want to leave with my listeners?
I think I can come to the table with this one. Is I love marketing down to the T. Yes, I do many other things in the business, and I do accounting. I trained as an accountant, actually, so I understand the numbers. The second I finish my exams, I've never done it since.
Good idea. Hello to all you accountants out there.
Yeah. But one thing in marketing that I've noticed is it's all about the micro interaction. And what I mean by that is when you're on an e-com website, for instance, the stats always play this out. If you can get someone to actively sort or click a button to go somewhere, you dramatically increase the conversion rate. So for me, when you come to our homepage, in the hero banner, there's a shop now button, and that just pops you down to where the main products are. But if you click that, you're more likely to buy. You've taken an action to engage with the website, for instance. And so it's all about micro interactions for me. And even can you, in the live chat world, for instance, can you split test the wording to get more people to click it? So yeah, my biggest thing is, where is the micro interaction in our business or your business, and can you make that easy, and can you get more people to click once? Because if they click once, they're more likely to buy.
Love it. Micro interactions. Website is ocrap.com.au if you need some fully compostable, non-plastic dog poo bags. Henry Reith, thanks for sharing your marketing and business insights on the podcast.
Thank you, Timbo. Thank you for having me.
Well, there you go, team. Marketing savant and co-founder of Ocrap, Henry Reith. My biggest takeaway from all that? Keep things simple. Your sales copy, your website, your customer service, your pricing, every part of your marketing. In fact, every part of your business. Business doesn't need to be complicated. Henry likes simplifying things, and it works. Keep it simple and customer-centric. What grabbed your attention? I'd love to know. So would everyone else. Give me a buzz. 0480 015 150. Just like long-time listener Chris did.
Hey Timbo, it's Chris here from your local tyre centre in Rosebud, Victoria. Long-time listener. A couple of times I've commented on the Facebook page, and a very avid listener for quite some many years. I've just been listening to your episode with Michelle from Night Quarter. Now, I've got to say, the positivity that Michelle brings is huge. And I've got to say, I agree with it 100% because I use that too. Now, there's no major woo-woo. I just believe on the problems come up to me and we just have a solution for them. So having a solutions-based business works very well. There's nothing too major that we can't get over. And if it is a big problem, well, we just work through the steps to find the solution. So being positive can really work, and it's worked very well for me in my business. So I just wanted to acknowledge a really great interview with Michelle, and she was a bloody breath of fresh air. So I hope you're well. Hope all's good. I will talk to you again soon. Bye now.
Chris, thank you so much for your support, brother. I know you are a very long-time listener, and I really appreciate it, mate. And I know you action what you hear. The world needs more positivity. Massive tick to that one. And I love the whole idea of a solutions-based business, brother. It's just a great term. I think if we all keep that in mind as business owners, we're going to do better. What problems do your clients have that you can solve? And totally focus on being solutions-based. Hey, everyone else, be like Chris and call me on 0480 015 150 and let us know what marketing is working for you at the moment. 0480 015 150. We're nearly at the end. It's time for you to take action on what you've learned. If you need further support and inspiration, check out my exclusive membership over at patreon.com/marketing podcast. That's patreon.com/marketing podcast. Next week, you and I get some serious media training from Media Stable founder Nick Hayes. Plus, he brings in two of his shining star clients who have been through his training, both small business owners who have benefited hugely by becoming the go-to media persons in their respective industries. One's a financial planner, the other one owns a digital marketing agency. Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, I hope you did if you got this far, please hit the subscribe button on your favourite podcast app where you'll find 620 more chats with successful business founders. Big thanks to editor Alex Amster for stitching the marketing gold together, and to our in-house rock star, Lockie Doley, for the music bed. Most importantly, a big thank you to you for tuning in. May your marketing be the absolute best marketing. Bye for now.